The first thing that happened with Insidious is that James and I came up with an idea that we felt we hadn't seen in horror films before, which is this idea of astral projection. Looking at that idea, the best way to house it, we thought, was inside a traditional haunted house film.
Insidious is really Lee and me harking back to the kind of like classic haunted house movies that we love. There are many great things I love about the haunted house genre. I think it's very important that when you're making a haunted house movie that you pay a lot of attention to the actual house itself, because the house is a character on its own right. And I think one should take as much time casting the house as you would cast the actors in the film. And I really wanted people, right off the very start of the movie, to look at the house in the film and go, well, obviously it's a scary haunted house. Look how scary looking it is, you know? Like, look how old and ancient and creaky it is. One of the things that I really wanted to carry from the start all the way to the end is I really wanted the film to have a pulse of its own, like the movie has its own heartbeat. And the way I captured that heartbeat at the start of the film is through the ticking grandfather clock. And it sets a tone, you know, it kind of lulls you into a trance-like state.
Daddy!
Oh, hey, buddy. Slow down. Hey.
Whoa, this is awesome!
Share with your brother.
I think it's very important when you're setting up a situation where a house is going to be haunted. You've got to be able to relate to these people before the outlandish stuff happens.
Have you seen my box of sheet music anywhere?
I don't know, babe.
We look at them and we project ourselves into their shoes. We go, that's us. What would we do if we were in that situation?
I think that jump scares have become overused in modern horror films. So one of the rules we had for this film, one of the little commandments I had when I was writing the film is no false scares.
If you're gonna go to such great effort to set, you know, the audience on edge and you're building it up, you know, I want my payoff to be real.
If you're going to put them through the trauma of a big scare, have it be real. Have it be the bad guy who's making their presence known.
I want to leave this house. I can't spend another night here. Please. Please, help me.
Okay. We're gone.
When we shift and we move into the second house, I really want the house to just feel like a very happy, bright, sunny suburban home. That you wouldn't think anything, you know, bad or creepy would happen in that house. But yet, you know, the second home is when things get even more crazier.
I think depicting a ghost in somebody's kitchen lets the audience instantly identify with it. Because when they leave the theatre and get in their car and drive home, they're going to be in their kitchen. Night is going to fall, and that film's going to come back to them if it was effective. And so I think that's why they resonate with audiences.
The haunted house genre deals in a world where we all can relate to. We all live in houses, we all live in a space that we feel like that is our sanctuary, our fortress. And I think it's that concept that you cannot control it is what makes it scary. We didn't want to make just a typical haunted house film. We took what people think is a haunted house film, and then we spin it. And so, the second act of the movie becomes a possession movie.
The defining characteristics are basically seeing somebody who is innocent and pure start to devolve into something demonic.
The other sort of classic convention, who else do you turn to for help? Since you cannot turn to the police, you turn to a priest.
It's first line of a joke, right? Guy comes home to find his wife with a priest.
We thought that that was the logical thing for the family to do, but then we straight away pushed it into a different direction that you realize, guess what, the priest isn't really going to help this family out.
With both the haunted house genre and the possession genre, there is a gradual build. You can't start at 100. Then there's nowhere to build to.
Stephen, do you have your sketchbook?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Good, because we're going to need it.
These possession movies tend to really spiral further and further out of control.
What is it?
There are some classic staples of the haunted house genre and the possession genre that you're almost forced to deal with when you're writing one of these films. The seance scene.
Okay. Dim the lights, please.
I remember getting to that scene and thinking, oh man, the seance scene. It's a bunch of people sitting around a table holding hands. What am I going to do here that could be possibly different? So I'm sitting there racking my brain, and it just occurred to me, what if the medium wore this strange kind of World War II gas mask that she spoke into, and her assistant interpreted everything she was saying?
I can't see in here.
I was thinking visually that would be so striking that it would take your mind off the fact that you'd seen the seance scene many times before.
Another great classic conventions in possession movies is the character that's possessed needs to deteriorate. They need to get worse as the film progresses. It's a ticking clock thing, I think, you know, because it adds more jeopardy towards the end of the movie because you want to build to a climax.
Leave this body now!
We loved the idea that what starts out as a very traditional haunted house film turns into a thing where it's actually the boy that's haunted. But ultimately what we wanted it to become is something we haven't seen much of, perhaps something we haven't ever seen anything of, which is the astral projection genre.
It's useless. I have no idea what I'm doing.
With the further, one of the things that Lee and I really wanted to do was give our new spin to what is otherwise, you know, one could refer to as a limbo world. Is it the limbo world or is it hell?
Hello?
One of the things that Lee and I really wanted to do is to show you this astral dimensional world, this crazy world that's out there, right, but hinge it in our world. It's a very heightened world, but at the same time, it's very grounded in reality as well.
The further is just a name for something that is beyond our world. It's further than our world.
When Patrick goes into that world to look for his son, he's actually revisiting the first house at the start of the movie. What we wanted to do is go, okay, you've seen this house in a realistic environment. Now we're going to show you that same house, but now through the point of view of the ghost, of the entities.
We wanted the ghosts to look like dolls, like relics from a different era. Frozen in time, living this same loop over and over.
What these ghosts want to do is they want to live again.
The film sort of starts in this very naturalistic way, in a home with a family experiencing the same problems we all have, and then by the end you've entered this other world. I think that other world gives you license to be a bit more theatrical. We were inspired by filmmakers like Dario Argento, who take a very operatic approach.
Red and black are my color palettes that I love. It really adds to the psychology of the film. And I really wanted the color red to represent the evil in the movie. You know the film is effective if you go home at night and you cannot sleep, or you start to think about the film that you've just seen, and it slowly creeps into the back of your mind and has planted an insidious seed in your head. that is when you know you've successfully created a effective scary film.